Okay, so this is gonna be kind of an awkward position. I'm not driving, but I am in a strip club parking lot. It's no longer a strip club though. Anyways, that's besides the point. I wanted to tell the story of how I was fired from a job for something I didn't do because I had a crazy boss. So I worked at a daycare starting in August of 2017. This was one of my first jobs still. I'm still getting used to it. It's one of my first jobs after moving across the country. I used to live in Idaho and now I live in Massachusetts. And so I'm still new at this. I still don't really understand. I need, a lot of help. I'm not the type of person who you can just throw in and expect me to get it all. I ask a lot of questions and I want all the information someone can possibly give me about something before I do it. So I start working at this daycare. I am heavily depressed at the same time, not on meds, not going to therapy, so I'm not looking great. Not that I'm looking great right now, but anyways. So I start working at this daycare and I fall in love with the students, the kids there. They were the most beautiful, kind, wonderful kids that I loved so dearly. When I first worked there, I was working with another woman who was the head teacher. And she was pretty intense, more than what I was used to. She was quite a bit older than me. But she did a good job. She really helped. I feel like we went relatively 50-50 on the majority of the stuff. And then she decides one day to come into work, and the first thing she tells me is that she's high. I don't know what she's high on, but her pupils are just pinpoints, like it's opiates. And she is bouncing off the walls, like going absolutely crazy. So I'm like, I don't know what this lady is doing. So she goes out to her car, says she's gonna smoke a bowl on her break or whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine, you do what you want to do. I don't care. Just leave me alone. However, through this time, I am very uncomfortable because these are amazing students that I love and that I care about and that I would protect with my life, and someone is putting them at danger by coming into work under the influence. So the day goes on. I don't really know what to do. That was my first job where I was like in such a dilemma where I'm like, I need to report this because I'm a mandated reporter, but also this is my coworker who I'm gonna potentially have to work with again. Or, I could start this big riff and nobody believes me, but they believe her. So I'm very confused, very concerned about what's going to happen if I say something, but I know that I need to say something. So my boss is on vacation at this point, and I text her and I say, I need to tell you something when you get back, because I didn't want to bother her vacation. She said, nope, don't tell me that. That's just going to make me anxious. You need to tell me right now. And I'm like, not really sure how to do it. So I call her while she's on vacation. I explain that my coworker, call her Megan, was using drugs. I wasn't sure what kind of drugs, but using drugs while working with the students. She goes, that's insane. Holy crap. I'll call you right back. Let me figure this out. She calls Megan. Megan obviously denies everything, as you would do, and is just like, that's not me. I don't know what she's talking about. She's lying. I don't know why she would say that. But the thing is that she had told other people that we were working with that she was on drugs too. So my boss then calls one of the other people she told, who had worked there for years, who she had known since she was a kid basically, and the other person was like, yeah, she told me the same thing too, like, this is crazy, we need to do something. So at that point she believes me because obviously I was telling the truth. There's the proof. She had told multiple people. We knew she had been using. There's no if and ors about it. Like, that it's what happened. So then my boss calls me back and is saying, well, I don't want to fire her until I come back and I have all the details and I know what's really going on. And I'm like, I'm not going to work with this person again, because at this point, my boss had told her that I was the one that said something. So I'm like, I'm not going to put myself in that position where this person hates me, is clearly mentally unstable if they're using drugs around infants, and I'm not going to work with them. Absolutely not. So I told her, nope, not doing it. Like, you can fire me if you want, but I'm not going there. So she ended up firing my employee, Megan, and Megan went on to whatever she's doing now. I had been getting a few messages after she had left, before I blocked her phone number, her just telling me how much she hated me and how I'm a terrible person, which obviously I'm a terrible person if I don't want kids to be harmed by drugs. How dare I? Anyways, so the year goes on. I get a new head teacher. This time it's someone that I get along with so well. She is wonderful. She is kind. She is funny. She's the best co-teacher I could have ever asked for, and the best coworker to have right next to me for 8-hour-long days. So we are working together. It's great. It's so much fun. We have our beautiful children that we take care of. We had 12 students all together, but we didn't have them all every day. We would take walks by the train tracks. We would do all kinds of fun stuff. There's a car passing in front of me right now, so that's why. Awkwardly. Oh, and he's picking his nose. That was pleasant. Anyways, so love her. She's wonderful. We get some new students into our classroom, and one of the students' parents pays in cash for her tuition. They would hand us cash every week. It was about $500, I believe. Maybe a little less than that. I can't remember. But they would hand us that cash, and then we would have to put it in an envelope, because at this point, our boss had most likely left for the day, because she would leave before us. And we would leave it in an envelope and either leave it in the classroom for the night and give it to her in the morning, or put it in her office. One or the two. So this particular night, it was a different assistant that I had than my usual co-teacher, because she had gone home for her half day. So it was someone who I usually didn't work with, but nevertheless loved her. And we had 2 parents in the classroom at the time trying to pick up their children, while we also had other children in the classroom who were yelling and doing what kids do, running around playing. So the mother of this student hands me the cash, the $500, however much it is. I'm like, I don't want to lose this. I don't know what to do. So I stick it in my pocket and check off on the check sheet that student has left, and that the other student who was in there had left too. And take the money out, put it in an envelope, leave it in the classroom for the day, because I'm going to give it to my boss tomorrow morning. Well, next morning, don't know where the cash is. Cannot find it anywhere. Cannot remember where I had put it. I have terrible memory just in general, but at that point I just had no memory of the night before, because they all blend into one. So, time goes on, whatever, it's fine. My boss then notices that she hasn't gotten a few payments from this family. The family is like, no, we have definitely paid you. Myself and the co-teacher had receipts of the payments saying, yep, we definitely got them. So they were 100% received. And it was just between us receiving them and getting to our boss's desk that they seemed to go missing. So she's concerned, obviously, understandably, about this. Not really sure what's going on, trying to figure it out, talking to a bunch of different people about it. She comes out to the playground one day, starts talking to the head teacher in my classroom, my coworker, who I love. She's talking to my coworker, and I'm taking the kids inside to go to the bathroom, because we're potty training 4 students at this time. So, you gotta take them when they say they want to go. You have to take them or they're going to pee their pants. So I'm taking them in. As soon as I'm done with everyone's bathrooming, I go over to where my boss and my co-teacher are standing and start talking about this and being like, yeah, it's really weird. I don't know what's going on. I can't understand it. That makes no sense whatsoever. And this, that, and the other. Fast forward. I am having a really difficult time in my life. I'm dealing with seasonal affective disorder. I am trying to get my depression under control and my anxiety, and it's the winter time, so it's even harder for me to deal with it. I inform my boss that I would like fewer hours and to cut down and do something a little easier so that I'm less overwhelmed. She's like, yep, that's fine. Absolutely. I completely understand. Just at the time seemed very caring. Later I learned this was all just a big lie. And so I go home for the night, moving on, doing great. And I receive this text message from her. And it's a group text message between her, me, my co-teacher, and another like fill-in assistant teacher. And she's like, I don't know where the money is, but one of you needs to bring it up to me. No question, like, I need that money. Give it to me now, basically. Accusing all three of us of stealing this money. And so we're all like, nobody responds. Nobody knows what to say because we're like, okay, none of us took it. I don't know what the hell you're doing. So we, double chin in full action right now. So we go on with our day, and she sends me a text message and says, you were the last person seen with one of the, amounts of payments or whatever, so it has to be you. I'm very taken aback by this because, one, my track record is, I don't lie. I don't cover it up for people. I'm not the type of person who's gonna take money from you just because I'm bored or I want to, or any reason really. I don't steal. That's not me. That's not the type of person I am. I have enough finances that I am stable. I have the ability to contact my parents and ask them for money if I do need it, and they will give it to me if I need money. I don't need to steal money from my place of employment. Anyways, she full on accuses me of stealing and says she wants to talk to me about this. At the same time, my best friend in the world has flown all the way across the country just to spend time with me, and I'm all distracted by my boss being crazy. So my best friend leaves after spending a really crazy, not so fun week with me, which I felt really bad about. And I finally am like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to this lady and clear my name because I know I didn't do it. Everyone who knows me knows I didn't do it. And that's gonna be it. So I go over there, go to her office, and right out of the gate, she is just accusatory and rude and snappy and not letting me talk and not letting me get a word in and just saying, nope, you did it. That's it, period. Doesn't give me a chance to explain. I'm so open. I say, you can check my Google Maps to see where I've gone. You can check my bank statements to see that I haven't spent any money. You can check everything. You can look in my wallet. You can check my car. You can look through all my clothes. You can do whatever you want and see I do not have your money. I never took your money. I would never take your money. I'm not that type of a person. But nope, doesn't want to hear a word about it. Just, it's her way and that's it. And honestly, I should have known it from the beginning because she had a Trump sticker. So obviously she's already racist, homophobic, and a horrible human being just to start out. And now on top of that, she just makes up her own assumptions, and that's the way it is. And if you don't agree with her, well, sucks to be you. And I was just so blown away at how someone who runs a daycare can be so rude and manipulative and nasty for no reason. It just seems very unnecessary to me. So at the end of this meeting, I get up and I'm like, well, I assume I don't have a job anymore. And she just goes, yep. And then turns away from me and goes back to her paperwork. Just doesn't acknowledge me, doesn't talk to me, doesn't say anything. Never again. I was so completely shocked by this. So confused and so hurt that someone who I genuinely cared about so much could do that to me. I cared so much about her children. She had 4 children that all went to the daycare throughout their years. I think a few of them were old enough to be in school. I can't remember. But her youngest was by far my favorite. I was her favorite. She would pick me over her mother. She loved me. I took her out on a weekend and took her to IHOP and got her chocolate and would cuddle her, and just, I treated her children like they were holy. It was insane, and she had the audacity to treat me with such disrespect and to make these assumptions about me and say these things about me with no proof, no way to back up her story, no way to cover her side of things. Just because she thinks I took her money, she's gonna say that I took it, because that's easier for her to say than to acknowledge maybe she was the one that messed up and should have had a better system for her staff handling cash and leaving it in rooms where all the other staff know where it is. Like, just the fact that she chose me out of everyone was incredibly hurtful and rude. And she continued to talk crap about me even after I left. She told so many of the people I worked with that I was a terrible person. She told parents of students this thing that didn't happen, so that I lost out on my side babysitting jobs. She was just a horrifying, terrible person. And I'm just still very confused as to how she's allowed to run a daycare or have children or be in charge of people, because she doesn't know how to be in charge of people. So that is my crazy boss story. I have so many more that I can tell, and I probably will. Thanks.